Exit our recording.
They were live.
Welcome to the PUC Public Utilities Commission meeting May 6th, 3 p.m. Call meeting to order. Roll call. Myself, Craig Schulte, Scott is present, Mike is present, Shane is present, Charles is present, and so is Kim. First thing up is to approve today's agenda.
I approve.
I second it, so the agenda has been approved. The first item on our agenda is the WTP pump. And I think I'm going to call on Scott to explain a little bit about what's going on with the replacement of the pump.
This pump was originally replaced, well, this pump was originally for cooling the old power plant. And so we've been using it as a backup. It failed last summer and we replaced it. And then we had an electrical issue due to a bunch of corrosion in the water plant. And that ended up taking out the new pump that we put in. And so we've fixed the corrosion issues, but we need to also replace the pump. And so this is a pump that will meet our needs for many years. And then we've also need some, because this is a submersible pump, there's a seal fail sensor and an overtemp sensor. This pump lives in the water, and so if it gets water around the seal, that does bad things to the insides of the pump. So there's a sensor that goes with the pump, and then the removal of the pump number 3, or the installation of pump number 3, and then we have a motor for one of our finish pumps that is dying after 30-some years of service, and so we're going to rebuild that pump. Rebuilding it is by far the cheapest route to go. New pumps are anywhere from $5,500 to $8,000. And so this is kind of a package deal that we've had really good success with. It used to be Minnesota Pump, but they've changed their names to Midwest Pump. And then Milky Electric's out of Duluth. And so we would get that motor down to Duluth to have them rewind it and totally rebuild it, and then we could put it back in service.
Okay.
Just a terminology check here. Raw pump means that's the pump that's bringing raw water in from the lake, yes?
That is correct.
And then finished pump is a pump that's pumping finished water up to the reservoirs.
Yes.
You're redoing 2 pumps.
We will be replacing one pump
and
because it's not cost effective to replace or to repair it. And then we'll be fixing the motor.
Okay.
A different
For the second pump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like there isn't really that much to discuss. It's
No, this is something that we need to
Gotta do maintenance, so this would be, so you got proposals, and you're recommending, Midwest Pump and Milky Electric
Yes, to
to
do
do
this.
the work on that. So I guess, yeah, they're right there, you see the. So
are there three raw water pumps, 3 finished pumps, is that the deal?
Yes, there are 3 raws and 3 finish.
And how are the other ones? In what condition? What age?
They're the 2 raw pumps, raw pump 1 and raw pump 2 were rebuilt last summer.
Okay.
And the 2 together put out about 300 gallons a minute. We can keep up with, if the clear well is full, at the water plant, we can keep up with it. But if we do a backwash, it takes us a full day to recover. And so.
To refill the clear
To
well.
refill the clear well, because everything else, the Moose Tower and the twin reservoirs are having water drawn from them as well.
Right.
So 60 gallons a minute, that difference, takes forever to fill up the clear well.
Yeah. Yeah. So are you typically running 3 at once, or just they alternate? How it does?
The goal is to run the new raw pump 3 as the primary pump, because that's gonna push about 425 gallons a minute.
Yeah.
So we'll be able to keep up much faster than what we can currently.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't.
So I'm entertaining a motion to approve, the following bid from Midwest Pump and Milky Electric of $19,028.45.
Yeah, it's sort of in our budget. It's not. I mean, it's not like it's. I mean, yes,
We didn't have this line item planned for, but we do anticipate these kinds of expenses, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I move to approve.
Okay, I second it. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. So we can approve that. And how long is it gonna take to,
A couple weeks.
couple weeks, so you get it back and installed then?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we wanna get it back in by the end of the month, so that way we're all ready for tourist season.
For the busy season, yeah. Okay. Thank you for that information. The next item on the list would be the water tank intake inspection. And I noticed you put a little sentence in there about that that should be inspected about every 5 years.
Yes,
And the last time was around 2006.
yes.
So we are due for inspecting that intake piping.
4 inspections.
We'll do 3, yeah.
So, go ahead, Scott, tell us a little bit about that. Is that is that the intake out on the lake?
This, yes,
Lake Superior?
so the intake pipe itself,
Yeah,
inside and out,
okay,
because that's a steel pipe. We wanna make sure it's in good condition, hasn't rusted through, there isn't a section of pipe missing because something shifted or what have you. That the grading at the actual intake, where water actually physically enters the pipe, that's in good condition. To my knowledge, 2006 was the last time anything was looked at, as far as the Moose Tower goes. And nothing has been done with the clear well, the raw pump, or the raw intake, or the intake pipe itself.
So but the inspection would be for all the reservoirs.
Yes,
And the intake pipe,
yes,
basically.
yes.
and the whole water system. Do they send divers up then to inspect
In
that
this,
Lake Superior?
in this case, it's going to be an underwater drone.
Okay,
That's
It
gonna
was
be
a
able
diver
to,
last time,
yeah,
in the tanks too,
oh, really, oh, in the tanks too?
Yeah.
So they can drone it all now?
yeah,
Okay, that's kinda cool.
yeah,
A lot safer,
yeah.
probably
Not as fun.
not as fun.
Maybe it's
I think it might be just as much
Yeah,
fun.
maybe it's.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
yeah, it's a safety issue to send a diver into the intake pipe. The intake pipe is a 20-inch diameter pipe.
Yeah.
And so it'd take a pretty small person to be able to go in there, and you'd never be able to turn around. You'd have to get pulled up by your feet.
That's not fun. Okay,
Not
No.
So, and I noticed there was both of the bidders said, oh, you need to have these tanks at capacity when we do the inspection.
That's so that the underwater drone, the ROV, as
Yeah.
it's abbreviated, can get up and see as much of the walls as it can.
Oh, I see, cause it's gonna be underwater.
It's gonna be underwater,
I see.
yes.
It can't look above the water.
That's correct.
I see.
Okay.
I see. And I don't know these companies,
Both of these outfits are top-notch companies
yeah,
that that's part of what they do for a living. KLM exclusively does water towers. But
Okay.
Bolton and Mink is an engineering outfit, and I've worked with Bolton and Mink for many years. They do good work for what they do.
Okay.
I think they'll be our 6th engineer we're currently working with when you hire them.
Oh.
Yeah,
spread it around,
we really are.
Yeah.
it's good. And it looks like their approach was roughly the same in
Yes.
days.
Yeah, roughly the same. KLM was gonna have divers go in and look at the intake. Bolton and Mink said they didn't need to do that, so consequently Bolton and Mink's price is cheaper.
Mm.
Okay.
And then are we gonna get this on a regular schedule, because it's sort of
It should be done every
another
5
20
years.
Yeah,
Yeah, all of this activity should be done every 5 years.
yeah, so I mean, is there a plan to get that on
It will be, yes.
yeah, so that,
Another thing to keep in mind is that the coatings for, the Moose Tower is a steel tower that's been painted.
yeah,
And so if there is damage to the coating,
outside.
Inside.
outside or inside, there may be repair costs that we can budget for. And they may give us an estimate that says, hey, you're good for 10 years, or you're good for 2. We'll have to wait and see what the inspection shows.
Yeah, what's the inside coating, what,
It's either,
epoxy?
it's an epoxy paint put out by either Sherwin-Williams or Tnemec. NSF rated for drinking water. And you can get it in myriad of colors.
I don't really care if it's on the inside.
People usually don't care, but lighter is better for
Yeah.
for visually seeing, because rust will turn, obviously, rust color.
Oh, yeah,
And then if it's a light color, then it's real easy to see.
I see. Yep. So probably we don't even know what's in there right now, or do we?
We truly don't know what's in there right now.
And the 2 in-ground reservoirs, same, I mean, is it the case we don't really know when the last inspection was?
Correct.
For any of these, really? Or no, you know for the intake, but that's
I've
it.
talked to both Tom and Steve Duchesne, and they don't think the twins have ever been inspected since 1992.
The twins, that's what we call them.
Yes, twin reservoirs. It's just,
The
that's what we
twins.
call it in-house.
It's the twins. Okay. Well, again, I mean, it seems like this is work that needs to get done, should have been
Maintenance we have to
happening.
do. What's the life expectancy of the Moose Tower, the metal exterior?
The coating's anywhere from 20 to 30 years,
Coatings,
depending
okay.
on conditions. The tower itself, usually what causes people to take down a tower is if it's A, either damaged or B, undersized.
Okay.
And so at this point in time, there's nothing obvious on
Right.
either.
Keep the coatings up on it. They last a long time.
Yes, that's true.
And our water's pretty easy,
Non-porous.
Yes, very easy on metal.
so then it's
Right.
just about ice.
Yeah.
And usually our levels change it enough that that's not that big of an
We don't
issue
get
either.
that problem.
So I think we're pretty easy on tanks around here.
Okay, so,
Just one more question about the twins. Are those concrete?
Yes, those are
Yeah,
concrete
And
tanks.
then they have their own, again, another epoxy liner,
I'm not sure what's in that liner. I don't have any documentation on that.
I see. So we should know something about it though after the inspection.
Yes.
We know what color it is anyways.
What
Yes.
condition it's in.
The tank inspections were budgeted for. So that makes it
Oh.
a little easier.
Yeah,
Because we recognized that they hadn't been inspected since who knows when.
Yes.
And again, that'll be on a regular schedule after this?
Yep.
Every 5 years?
Yeah.
And we're leaving one out that needs to be inspected too, right?
I'm sorry, Mike?
Are we checking all underneath the plant, all that stuff too?
Yes, that is also in this proposal.
Okay,
That's,
that's the most fun, that's the best one,
Downtown?
under the water treatment plant.
that's the clear well.
How big is
That's
that?
1955.
Built in 1950.
Yes.
Is that when that water treatment plant dates from?
Yes,
The earliest version of it, yeah.
yes. Yeah, they took the 1955 plant off of the top of it
Okay.
and plopped down the 92 plant on it.
And what's the capacity of that by comparison to, say, the reservoirs?
The clear well holds about 100,000 gallons of water.
And those reservoirs are,
The twins are 300 each and the moose is 200. Or no, excuse me, the twins are 150 each for a total of 300.
okay. Well, we have almost as much water in the swimming pool at the Y. That's 110,000, I think.
Yeah, they're big, big tanks.
What does the moose one hold, 200?
200.
200. Okay.
Seems like a lot, but we can use 2/3 of that in a day. And
Yeah,
Yeah, I know, I
Yep.
mean, when we had that Wilkes-Barre Trading Post fire quite a few years ago, we used,
we'll empty the tanks in hours
A
if
lot
we're
of-
doing that,
we
yeah.
used a lot of water,
Eventually we have to stop so that
get caught up.
people can continue to drink water.
yep.
Okay. So, I guess we just need a motion to approve KLM Engineering and Bolton and Mink to do those inspections.
So this would
Just one of them.
just for Bolton and Mink to do the inspection.
Oh. Yeah, okay, right. You had 2 bids, right?
Yeah, 2 bids.
So accept that. Right,
Yeah.
that quote from Bolton and Mink of 20,700 to do the Twin Reservoirs Moose Tower Water Treatment Plant. Intake,
Yeah.
piping.
Will we get to see any of this? I mean, we don't need the detail, but it'd be interesting
Yes.
to see the results of this.
Yeah, we'll be
we can
able
look
to
at the
see
video.
the results.
But I mean, I'm talking about the PUC. Will you
I can do a
give
slideshow of it,
a
sure.
little presentation would be
Sure,
nice?
sure.
Just to see what we have. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, that'd be great to see
Yeah.
the conditions of how this stuff is aging and condition it's in.
You want your PUC to be well informed.
Give us some ideas of what we gotta plan for in the future.
Yes.
If we
We'll
need
give you
to.
a good video tour of when we go through the sewer pipes and when we looked in the water treatment plants and
It'd be
towers.
nice.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, that would have been useful for this next conversation.
It would have, yes. I didn't think of that till now.
Because you did take video of the sewer line, right?
We did take a
Tried
little
to.
bit of video, but I don't have a copy of the video. I didn't watch it, but it wasn't recorded. I got a couple of pictures,
I see.
but I didn't think of putting those in either.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, I move to approve the Bolton Mink proposal.
Okay, I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. So we can start that work, and what's the time frame on
Some,
summer? You'll have to do that work in summer, okay.
It doesn't interfere with operations.
No,
Well, you have to shut down the intake when the guys are inspecting it, I guess.
so they can do that live.
And even when the drone's moving up and down through the intake pipe?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Must be strong.
Because because the intake is a large enough diameter and that drone isn't that big,
Yeah.
that water will just constantly slowly flow past it.
Yeah.
And it might slow it down a
There's not a lot
little
of velocity in
bit.
there.
No, very little velocity.
No, and it's not running through a pump.
No, thankfully
Just-
not.
It's passively filling a space that's being pumped.
Right.
What is? Passively filling the space that's being pumped.
The pipe, the intake pipe. It's just a connection between raw water well in the lake
Yeah.
there's nothing in it, just a pipe.
Yeah, just a pipe.
Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah. So you can go all the way from the pipe into the clear well, look around, come back out.
Yeah.
And there, you don't have to traverse any pumps in there.
Yes.
Correct.
That's what I'm saying.
I get it.
It's all out in the big lake. How far out does that pipe go?
A few hundred feet.
Oh, really?
400, according to this.
That, I got some
400
updated
out
numbers
in the
from
lake?
Steve Duchesne. He was saying it's about 150 or 200. So I learned something there.
It did say 400, somewhere I read that.
Yes, I was originally thinking it was 400 feet
Hmm.
from a number that I had thought I had heard.
Well, they'll probably measure it, right?
I'm sorry.
We'll know after they're done,
Yeah.
yeah.
After they're done, they'll have to find it.
The drone.
Find the
will-
intake.
Yeah, the drone will measure it.
It's probably in what, 40, 50 feet of water maybe?
Not quite, but yeah.
Not quite.
Yeah, 30 some. More than I want to swim down to.
In Lake Superior.
Yeah.
Might be good fishing out by that pipe maybe.
I don't know, but they probably don't like going in there.
Okay, so, we'll accept that. Work to be done, and we'll move on to, 4th Avenue wastewater lining. That's what you were talking about. Sewer pipe?
Yes, so the sewer pipe that's, it's on 4th Avenue between 4th and 5th Streets. And there is significant root intrusion on the center third of that section of pipe. They were able to get, it's been jetted twice just to keep it open.
Okay.
We're gonna need to get in some real strong equipment to cut the roots. And then that way we can line it so that way the roots can't be a problem in the future.
Clay pipe?
I'm sorry?
Clay pipe?
It is clay pipe, yes. And there's at least a dozen spots where there's root intrusion. And then there is also some pipe sections that are spider webbed, meaning that they're cracking. And there's pieces like this big,
Missing?
they're not missing thankfully,
Oh.
but they will be.
Mhm.
It's just a matter of when. And by lining the pipe, that saves us from having to dig up the street.
Yeah.
The water pipe, we haven't had any records of any breaks in that stretch of pipe. And the road, I just drove it this afternoon. The road is actually one of the better roads in town as far as one of the back residential streets.
Yeah, we redid the pavement 10 years ago. It's in really good shape.
Yeah, curb looks good, so.
This price is really quite different than our typical replacement price. I think this stretch of pipe, if we were digging it up, we didn't account for fixing the street on top, it would cost twice as much at least. And of course, you can't dig it up without fixing the street on top, and so really, this is a huge discount from typical way we would do maintenance, where we do it all at the same time, where we do the water main, the sewer main, and the street all at the same time. So as long as we don't have to do those other pieces, this is the way to go for us.
That's why Skilldums is so much higher?
No, he's just, this is new for him. We hired him to do some patch jobs for us, and it's great to have him available to do linings. That's gonna be a project that we're gonna use from time to time with him, and he doesn't have to mobilize. But because this isn't his primary business, I think he's not gonna be as competitive on a big project price-wise.
But this was still lining though?
He
Yeah,
would,
it's-
he
this
would
is
do
different kind of
2 to 4 foot patches
lining,
of lined pipe.
Yeah.
So he would, he'd literally put a piece like this in
yeah.
and expand it out so
Yeah.
that way it would line the wall of the pipe, blocking off whatever is the problem.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have the ability to cut out a new service line or anything like that, where somebody's service line comes into the city's pipe.
Yeah.
Chris just doesn't have that equipment.
Oh, I see, so that makes more sense for him to just do patches. I
Yes.
see.
And in this case, both VisuSewer and HydroClean recommend only 2 patches for city block. Then you start getting into, if you've gotta patch something twice, is the rest of the pipe really that good a shape?
Right.
Right.
And this will be like a new pipe when it's done.
Yeah, so they're gonna install like 385 linear feet of 8-inch liner,
Yes,
line the whole thing.
yep. The only drawback to doing this is we lose a little bit of capacity of the pipe. We go from about an 8-inch pipe down to a 7 1/4. So, in this application, it doesn't matter,
No.
because we've got plenty of capacity. That pipe doesn't run full, and so, or even half full. So it's not an issue.
There's not very many structures connected to this pipe.
No,
Okay,
Even if we had twice as many, it wouldn't be a problem.
correct.
There's a decent slope up there anyways.
Yeah, very good slope up there.
Yeah, what we lose in diameter, we might make up for in having a smooth pipe.
it actually is working better.
Yeah.
Okay. So this proposal to do that work is $30,250. We have a motion to approve.
And just one little question, is it, so between Visu Sewer and HydroClean, I mean, again, I don't know these firms.
Both of them have been in the business for decades.
Yeah.
And I haven't worked with either of them, but their reputations are good.
Are both.
We've used Visu Sewer here. I've worked with them in other cities. I know
Yeah.
them. They're fine.
Okay.
They do good work.
So I'm always a little cautious, like, well, we'll just take a little bit, well,
Mhm.
it's not always the best idea, of course, so.
Exactly.
So, anyway, good, okay. Yeah, so I move to approve the proposal.
Okay, I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved for the 4th Avenue sewer lining between 4th and 5th Streets. Moving on to the next,
Can I ask one sort of follow-up question?
yeah,
Is this a, as the line companies say, you know, if you have a block and you have several breaks in it or intrusions in sewer, that suggests the pipe's not really in very good shape. Would we expect that the other pipes, say along that line, or pipes of a similar age, wouldn't we expect that they would also be at the point of failure?
We can suspect some of that.
Yeah.
We're going to be televising and jetting about 10,000 feet in the town this summer. That's budgeted, and we will know a lot better over the next couple of years, once we get the whole town jetted and televised, what the conditions are.
Yeah.
We've been a lot more regular in that maintenance activity. So we've literally seen the inside of all these pipes recently.
Yeah.
And we don't have to, we can rely on that. We also know, you know, with water mains, we don't get to see them, right? So it's about, have we had to maintain it as it breaks or anything like that? And with sewer pipes, it's the same way. Has there been any clogs or roots or other issues?
Yeah.
So we don't have any other blocks that like are imminent problems right now that we should have them do as long as they're here. But there's another 20 blocks that might be a similar vintage that we'll be thinking about replacing one way or another. If we're doing the water main at the same time, it's really not. We might as well just replace the sewer pipe because we're already that deeper in the ground.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and this pipe is how old, probably?
I'm not for certain how old this pipe is.
Original, maybe?
I would bet it's from the 50s. It's,
clay,
certainly the first time, yeah, it's the first pipe that was put in that street. So it's, 60 to 80 years old, which is in the ballpark. They can last longer than that, but that's pretty good life.
Okay, I was just thinking, should we be anticipating more of this work soon, or someday, or
Good question.
hard to know?
Yeah, I mean, our next big sewer reconstruction project is one we've been talking about for a while now, which is First Street. I don't think we'll be lining First Street because the water mains are also old and the pavement is also old and everything needs to go at the same time. But there will be chunks where we do pavement work and without doing the utilities underneath, and then come back 10 years later and do a lining project where the timing isn't lining up to do it all at the same time. So
But you're saying First Street, probably all those.
we'll
would be
reconstruct
replaced.
that, yeah.
Pipe, water, sewer.
Yeah, cause the street needs to be reconstructed and the utilities are all old. But something like Third Avenue East, you know, sorry about this, but we're gonna do some maintenance work over there on the pavement. And, we're gonna do the maintenance work on the pavement before we get to replacing the utilities. They're not as old, they're probably not in need of it, but they sure could be in the next 20 years and we don't wanna dig the road up.
Twice.
Yeah, so this would be a great option for us if we find ourselves in a situation like that.
To do lining.
To line the pipe rather than dig up a new street, yeah. You can do a similar thing with water mains too, they don't line, but you can burst them, so we have options to, when the timing doesn't line up, to do utilities and streets at a different time. Mostly we like to do them together.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, the last item on our agenda is demand rate, and we have Shane Steele here.
Yeah,
Give us a little information on that.
yeah, so this, and Mike and I will kind of tag team this, but this demand rate, you have the memo, the language was taken from a rate study that we had done, our most recent rate study in 2020, which suggests that the city could consider a demand rate for larger customers. And I guess to like make it simpler to understand, I would point you to the tables on the second page of the memo and talk about, so you can see table 1, the existing rate, we charge all of our customers the same rate. They have, a commercial customer has a $52 meter fee or monthly charge, and then they pay 11 cents per kilowatt hour. The demand rate adds in a fee for their peak demand, so the amount of energy they're using at a given time, whatever that is, the highest that is in the month, we can capture that with our meters and charge them a fee for that. So if they use 1 kilowatt and that's their highest monthly demand, then their bill would be $8.40 plus their usage in kilowatt hours, and you see their customer fee is higher. So
That's their monthly fee?
yeah, that's their monthly fee. So let's look at table 2 and make an example. So customer 1 is, so both these customers, they use the same amount of electricity in a month, 25,000 kilowatt hours. But customer 1 peaks at 50 kW and customer 2 peaks at 100 kW.
Okay.
And this is where that load factor on the first page is apparent. The load factor, the higher the load factor, the more efficient use of our infrastructure this customer is. So we have to provide infrastructure to customer 2 so that they can hit that 100 kW peak.
Yeah.
But they're not using 100 kW or kilowatt hours for the whole month. They're only using 25, so they're 35% efficient. Customer 1 has a less of a peak, but the same, so their peak per usage is more efficient. So they're like a more efficient user of our infrastructure. So example.
It's more efficient because they're using it, it's more frequent kind of, is that what you're saying?
It's more even, so if we have to buy a transformer to serve customer 2, it's gonna cost twice as much as the transformer we have to buy to serve customer one
For the same amount of energy.
for the same amount of kilowatt hour sales. So if all of our revenues are based on kilowatt hour sales, we're not capturing the true impact a customer has when they're larger like this.
And a good example, to not pick out examples, but like imagine the EV charging stations. Sit and use almost no energy until someone plugs in, and then they have a huge spike in demand, and it could be 50 kilowatts that it's spiking at
Yeah.
for 30 minutes, and then that person unplugs, and there is no usage on that. But we still have to provide them with the infrastructure to hit 50 kW.
Yeah.
Where the other customer, like for example, our wastewater plant, not the same size as the EV charging stations, much bigger customer, but they're not having big peaks and drop-offs, they're just always using a lot of power.
And that's a good thing or a bad thing?
That's a good thing.
That's a good thing because it's kind of like the overhead cost is spread out more.
Yeah.
Is that the idea?
Yep. If everybody had a perfectly flat load curve, 100% load factor, then we could just charge kilowatt hours and capture every single dollar.
So the assumption is, for this customer one, is that is there particular infrastructure that has been, that has been put in place for that customer? Like, is there a transformer sitting outside, I don't know, what their laundromat or something like this, so that is an actual cost that can be directly allocated to that particular user? Or is this simply overall the city's kind of infrastructure?
Customers are all using infrastructure.
Yes.
You know, there's not, transformers are shared between customers,
Most
or
of the time, sometimes not.
if there's a big customer, they have their own transformer.
But for instance, the charging stations, they have their own particular infrastructure because we know that they're gonna be a high demand level operation.
There's infrastructure there just to serve the charging stations.
But-
Yeah, and a transformer big enough to serve 2 city blocks, right? And so you've got 15 customers paying for one transformer and you've got one customer paying for the other.
Yeah.
So it does actually relate at that individual customer level. It also relates at a citywide level because we are billed based on our overall peak and we have to pay different rates during peak times, but we also pay for what our peak is every month. And so folks that are contributing more to that number, this is one way to have them pay more rather than everybody pays whether they're really part of the issue or not.
So the lower the load factor, the higher we're gonna charge the customer. Kind of is the idea.
That's
That's
demand billing in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you want, and if, or if they had a low spike and a low load factor, they wouldn't get charged for that.
Don't
right?
think of like, the spike is relative to their usage. You know, they're operating at this and then peak.
Monthly
and then comes back down.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're over.
average or
Yeah,
cumulative use for a month.
yeah.
That's what they get billed for. That's it.
But you
That's
could
the
have a
25.
customer that has a lot of usage and then big spikes. It's the same as a customer with a medium amount of usage and then spikes. It's just a relative. We're just trying to capture a fee for that spike.
But you really care about me, for instance, my house, and I,
We wouldn't charge small customers this rate at all.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I turn on my microwave.
We don't notice.
I know, because.
Residents are too small and don't have great load factors, but we're just too small to really.
But I mean, I do have a load factor, and it might be actually very small. Because the only time I spike it is when I'm turning on my microwave or my.
You're from an electric dryer
Yeah.
or something
Yeah.
like that.
But the difference in the billing that we would provide you isn't worth the investment in the equipment to measure your information and tracking all that data and making your bill more complicated.
On your residential.
It's not, we wouldn't get enough benefit out of going there. So really the demand billing is something that most utilities do, but only for their largest customers.
And, okay, so, sorry, maybe I asked too many questions here,
No,
but,
keep going.
so why do you care about the load factor for this customer two, and not about the load factor for me, when my load factor is probably 10% or something?
Cause you're like down here and your little spikes are tiny.
Yeah.
Whereas a large customer could spike and it's much bigger impact.
How is it a bigger impact? It's a bigger impact on what?
On the infrastructure needed,
Structure.
like there's the transformers and the infrastructure needed to provide,
That spike.
to provide that bigger spike to
Capacity.
these bigger customers costs more and is less predictable than residential customers. We know exactly what the infrastructure needs to be.
Here's another way to think about it too. What's the size of your service in your house?
One. Yeah, I don't know.
200 amp service?
200 amp, yeah.
That's a pretty typical installation these days. And if you look inside of that box, there could very well be more than 200 amps of breakers in it.
Right.
And if you look at any one of those breakers, that circuit that's connected to maybe a 15 amp circuit has a number of outlets connected to it. And if you plugged a hairdryer into every one of those and turned it on, it'd be too much, right?
Yeah.
It's overbuilt because we know that no one ever uses all of it at one time. And that's true for the transformers and the lines and everything else that's serving in a residential place, is that the transformer isn't sized to take on everybody's peak all at once, because that never happens.
Do it.
And it would be inefficient to do that. But when we're talking about a large customer, we know it will happen, it does happen every month, and so we have to have that equipment in place. So with the smaller customers, it does kind of aggregate and smooth out because nobody's peaks at the same time. With the larger customer, we have to account for it.
So it's sort of like the very fact that you have these large customers, which with their occasional peak demands, requires us to have a large capacity system.
Yeah.
And that's, we're charging them for the privilege of being able to use our large capacity system.
What we're trying to do with rates always is allocate the costs to the folks that are driving the costs.
Yes. Yeah, okay. Good.
How's that work in three-phase then? If you have
I think all of these customers that would be impacted are three-phase customers.
Yes.
Could you just give some examples of the peak demand users around?
Yes.
Yeah, but you have a little.
So let's
We
look.
can't talk about individual
Well,
customers.
examples of,
We can talk about our own
well,
example.
like sewer plant,
Yeah,
where,
we
Water
can't name
plant.
names otherwise.
where certain times of the year, you're not using as much energy over there like you are probably middle of July, where you're running a lot of more and more products coming in, the more the pumps are running.
We can show you actual individual customers' load curve offline, but we can't share that information publicly. If
But I
you're
can
curious about any of them.
I can show you some examples of how a rate would affect customers. And so up on the screen, I've got this spreadsheet. The actual numbers here aren't super important. There'll be some color coding in the second
that's
half
good,
of this.
because I can't see it. So
Yeah.
a lot of them.
But you basically got on the top here, this is month, January 2026, that's their usage, and here's January 2026, this is their peak demand. So 1 hour of the day, of the month, wherever their highest peak of monthly usage was, our meters captured that in the billing month and said, this is your peak, you're gonna have to, this is what you would be charged for in the demand charge. So it's not the whole year, we did do the whole year, but just for the sake of this sheet, this is like some of the spring, summer, fall, and winter. Okay, let's go down here. The goal of a demand rate, and the bottom numbers are actually important. So the goal of a demand rate is to make the same amount of revenue as we would from our normal rate as we do from the demand rate. So we want to set the fee so that we're not making more money from the demand rate than we would have if we had kept the rates the same. Does that make sense?
Probably does to somebody.
We've got this set up so that we can play with the values of what's the customer charge, what's the energy charge, what's the demand charge, trying to solve for what was the previous billing and what would it be with the new rates, and we want those numbers to be the same when you combine all the customers that are included. So this spreadsheet's gonna identify which customer's billing goes up or down with a new demand rate for each month, and then in the end, although each individual customer's bill went up or down in the month, all of the total bills for the year collected the same amount of money. So we're not trying to shift money from residential to commercial customers or small to large or vice versa. We're trying to keep it revenue neutral and just shift it from large customers with high load factor to large customers with low load factor.
So the red here, the numbers in the columns are just comparing, like this column is a normal rate for the same month. This column over here is the demand rate. So it's, what we've got in the formula is that the red number is the higher number. And so I just wanna I wanna change a number, and you can see how not every customer is affected the same way, and that's the point, is to capture which customers have big peaks and which customers have flat curves. And so if we say $5, so that's from table 1, and I've got it at example is $8.40. If the peak is $5, it doesn't really do.
Most people's bills are
Lower
lower.
off of the demand
With
rate,
the
and we're
demand
not capturing the same amount of the large numbers in the bottom. We're not capturing the same amount of revenue, so it's not enough of a charge for their. So we're not. It's not the right bill. It's not the right rate. And if we charge $12 per kilowatt of demand, you know, the colors change, shifts. Some of those shift. Well, yeah, the bottom number, we're still capturing too much. Now we're making much more money off of our peak demand customers than our non. And so just where did we get these numbers in the proposed rate? It's when those bottom numbers are as close to possible, or as close to the same as possible.
Yeah.
So those are
This gets back to
within,
what Mike was saying about you don't wanna shift the burden to commercial customers from, and put relatively more of that on
Yeah,
commercial
I
customers.
mean, that may be the right thing to do,
Yeah.
but just for this exercise,
We're
we're holding that harmless. We wanna keep the
keep it
revenue neutral.
constant.
How does this work with customers? Well, okay, take like these new buildings that have been built, and they're all probably electric heat, correct? So their peaks are obviously gonna be in the winter months.
Yeah,
They'd be high demand
at least for a few months.
for a few months.
Yeah.
But then what about the person who's installed off-peak heating systems, where they obviously are pulling more energy during off-peak hours than holding it?
Yeah, you're thinking about a residential case,
Right.
and we're not gonna use this rate for residential
Okay.
cases.
All right, it doesn't apply to it
And
then.
we have other rates in place to
For
try
that.
to account for that.
Okay.
we do have commercial customers that are on off-peak rates, but we didn't take those meters. Those are separate meters. These are just general electric meters
Yeah.
that they would use for most of their operations.
Okay.
And we're looking at 20, right?
Yeah.
We've got 1,100 customers, and we're looking at the top 20 in terms of kilowatt sales right now. So that's part of the question that we're still working on, is what's the right line to draw here in terms of who gets included on the demand rate and who doesn't? Should it be based on kilowatt sales? Should it be based on the demand number? we're still looking at that.
Okay.
But we just wanted to give you some behind the curtains on what this rate looks like, why we might wanna do it.
Okay.
It's kind of a fairness sort of a proposition, right?
Yeah.
And charge the people who are costing the utility the most. I mean, who are most sort of burdensome to the utility.
Yeah, we have a fixed cost to provide every customer in this scenario with their peak.
Right.
In some industrial scenarios, and we don't really have industrial customers, this is a way to provide savings too, because they're selling a lot of kilowatts very efficiently, and they can do that for cheaper for a large customer that has a really flat load curve. So it's not all about charging people more, in some cases it's actually about charging people less, because that's the type of customer they are, that they're more efficient.
And maybe encouraging them to flatten out their demand.
Yeah, that's part of the math that we're not sure about yet, is with this, even if this was trying to change people's behavior, have we given them any information on how to do that? Or what
And would they be able?
would they be able to?
Yeah,
Would
that's
it make
good.
any sense? And I don't think we know the answer, but my inclination is no.
Yeah.
That this isn't really about changing people's behavior. Whereas a demand, the off-peak and dual fuel is literally about changing when you use electricity.
Yeah. So, not to continue this forever, so what generally is why are we even talking about this right now? I mean, I'm not saying we shouldn't be, but what's the?
What's the need?
Yeah,
Why are we talking about this? When we did a rate study, which was now what?
2020.
Yeah, 6 years ago. This was one of the recommendations at the time, was consider implementing this demand billing, because it's just the best practice for utilities. Most do this. And so at that time we thought, okay, well, we'll take a little while and figure out how to gather this data, and then do some ghost billing, some what if we had, what would it look like for individual customers? And this is the results of that thought process. So I think there wasn't really any hurry to get around to it. It's revenue neutral. It's not changing anybody's behavior. So it's more about installing a best practice than it is curing a really big problem.
Or does it avoid a future problem somehow?
For sure, that's one of the thought processes that I think drove it originally, is what if some commercial folks started installing really large charging stations, for instance?
Yeah.
That if somebody puts a Tesla charging station in and they need 700 kilowatts of demand service, that's a massive amount of what we would sell in the city, and not that they'd ever really probably use it.
Use it all at once.
But we didn't know that in 2020, or what it was gonna look like in 5 years, and I still think there's some possibility that occurs in the future. That's probably the easiest case to understand. I think the idea of another type of customer showing up with massive demand is less likely. A data center isn't coming, industry's not coming. I don't think we have to worry about big, giant electric users that way. Our much more common customer is the ones that you're familiar with. New apartment building, our institutional uses, some of our businesses, ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so then just to return to the question, like, is this sort of like, well, we looked at this and we could see that it's not gonna change things too much one way or the other, so we'll just shelve it again?
Well, we've got more questions we want to answer still, like where would we draw the line? Which customers should be included in this program and which shouldn't? And then we have to fine tune the rates so that you're willing to do this, because it'll change. It won't change the total amount we're gonna get, but it'll definitely change individual customers' experience. If somebody's bill's gonna go up 10 or 15% in a year, they're gonna notice that. And so we need to make sure we're comfortable with what we're proposing before we roll it out.
Yeah, and that's what these red numbers are. I mean, you can't see the numbers, they're too small. But, here's one customer who pays $700 more in the month of September because
Per month.
their rate, well, just that month, for
Yeah.
whatever reason, they peaked and the rate says per this rate, because you peak this much, that's how the rate shakes out, and so.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, you could look at all these examples across a lot of customers and see that.
Mm-hmm.
Some customers will save money, some customers will pay more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could imagine a lot of pushback. Right, it's like, why are you doing this?
And with this table we're looking at now, where you see mostly pink on the left and white on the right, when you pair up those columns, what that means is most customers are gonna pay less on a monthly basis on this list. So a lot of customers paying a little bit less and a handful of customers paying a significant amount more.
Right. Yeah, that probably will not go down easily.
No,
And I mean, maybe if I'm still a little unclear on what the main advantage to us would be for implementing the system, but even if we decided, yeah, this is something we really should do, maybe there's some way of doing it incrementally so it won't
Yeah.
feel.
that's what we were thinking about, is would we take 2 or 3 years to roll it in rather than all at once?
Yeah.
So that implies a timing here of, we'd wanna know about our intention end of summer, be able to communicate with folks towards fall when they're putting their budgets together,
Yeah,
and then have some kind of rollout plan.
yeah. Okay, and just at the moment, just like right now, I haven't looked at this a little bit, what would you guys say is why would we wanna do this?
It's best practice.
Because other people are?
But they're doing it for the right reason. It's because rates should allocate costs to folks that are driving costs, and this is one way to do it. So the change is difficult to accept individually. Customers are gonna notice some change, and that's difficult to accept.
Yeah.
But what that change means is our rates aren't calculating right now correctly. They're not allocating costs to folks that are driving it as well as they could.
And we pay a demand to SIMPA, and that is passed through to the customer. And so it's only fair that the customers that are causing the peaks in demand pay for it.
Yeah.
Like fairly, you know, based
Fairness
on
kind of thing. Yeah.
based on meter data, you know.
Yeah.
It's not how big a customer or how small, it's like, it's your peak.
Yeah.
We are picking on the large customers, but we're not picking on like the very largest or we're picking on the peaks.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I can imagine those customers saying, well, why are you doing this to me? It's not, it doesn't change anything on your guys' side, so
Yeah.
why are you hurting me?
And 15 of them are gonna say thank you.
Or not.
Or
because
probably
they-
not, but they're gonna think it.
You
But
mean-
5 of them are gonna be confused, and we'll need to have an explanation.
Yeah. Okay. So, updates to follow, or what's the, yeah,
And this is also kind of our first rollout of this publicly, and we're interested in your feedback on it too. I mean, if you're telling us, I'm not interested in going there, I don't see a problem that we're solving, we won't waste any more time on it.
yeah. Well, I'll say for my own sake, I'm a little bit along those lines, but maybe that's just, maybe it's too early to say that. But, and maybe there's, maybe if this is a program we're contemplating, seriously, maybe we should be out talking to some of our bigger residential customers and say, we're talking about this, what would be your perspective? I don't know. I mean, I guess people can be looking at this meeting, probably they won't, right? They won't be looking at the video, but
This was a part of my weekly update too this week, so anyone who reads the newsletter will hear about it, and
yeah,
hopefully people hear about it.
Well, we've got time, so folks can digest and get back to you or us if they have thoughts on it right now. You can do that as well. We'll keep working on it for now. we don't necessarily have to put it on an agenda again until we're ready to talk more.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys can always bring it up and say, we've heard some things, or
Yeah,
we wanna know more.
yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm likely to hear anything unless I go solicit
Yeah,
comments from people I suspect may be affected.
and like I said, we can look at customer data with you directly, we just can't do that publicly.
Right.
So one of our biggest customers is probably the rec park.
I actually think
Doesn't that show-
our biggest
But doesn't that
customer
show
of city
huge-
is the wastewater plant.
It's the wastewater
And
plant.
I don't think it's
Yeah,
close.
well,
Yeah, the rec
I know
park
what you're saying.
doesn't have a
but
good load factor.
Our whole town operates on a peak and a valley, pretty much, right? I mean,
Yes,
in theory, I mean, not everything is that way, but you're looking at electric use, but.
yeah, and electric use is tricky because think of a hotel, just a generic hotel.
Right,
They have less customers in the wintertime, but they have heat on and they have
Still
lights
got
on
heat.
longer.
They got
And
heat,
so their water bill is for sure massively different in the summertime. Their electric bill may or may not be.
correct. Yeah.
Well, we had one other item that we were gonna potentially roll through with you
Okay.
on E-tip, but it's on the council agenda tonight. And so I was wondering if maybe we just do that, and rather than do it here and then do it in 2 hours.
I think that's a great idea.
The council meeting is gonna be live streamed and recorded, and so you can catch the whole presentation that we're gonna give them on the E-tip, which is the electric, the grant that we're working on to do the study on electric.
Oh, right.
So what we have on the council packet tonight is, we've got their whole document on scope of work. It's in the council packet to review. We're not going to go through that in detail with the council, that's way too much. But we are gonna go through a slideshow presentation that's really designed more for talking to the public about what this project is. So, Craig, you'll be there. Charles, we can, it's available for you, you can come or watch it at your convenience.
Yes, I can't be there tonight, but
Yeah,
good to watch it. You're presenting, Shane?
Yeah. Both of us.
yeah, and I thought maybe we'd do a practice now, but this meeting's
We
been
We don't need
probably
practice.
long enough.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. Good luck in the hot seat.
That's where I live.
He's covered his name in that table already.
Any other items or questions you have, Charles?
No.
Okay. I have nothing else to talk about. So we'll end the meeting. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second it. Meeting adjourned.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.